Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game where rare things that you probably don't know exist, like the legendary Ghost Rare Black Luster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginning. I've heard stories about this card throughout the years, but can you find a reputable source online talking about it? No. It's just things that go through the rumor mill. Today, actually yesterday, something very rare came onto the market, and is it true or is it a myth? So let's dig on into the Mattel Cyber Dragon, shall we? Alright, so one of the rarest things in the Yu-Gi-Verse came up, and it is the Mattel action figure promotional card. Now, for years, the community has pretty much deemed this as non-existent. I think, it was some years ago that the Bubble Mans came into circulation. I remember reading the stories on Pojo and whatnot about this elusive Bubble Man and how it was Mattel and it never got released. And then all of a sudden, you blinked and they're in circulation. A lot more copies of these than I thought that there would be. So today, or yesterday on Reddit, this post comes up. 15 years these cards were rumored to exist, and the Reddit user Loser Chris has confirmed that they do in fact exist. Now, this is the card in question here, is the Cyber Dragon. Here's a picture of the Bubble Man. If you look into TCG Player and you look at the price of the Bubble Man is very, very expensive. So where do these toys, or where do these cards come from? So there was supposed to be a line of toys that was being released, and these would basically be included in them. There's a Mattel Cyber Dragon. There's a Jethonian Soldier. I've seen the Clayman. I'm pretty sure I've seen the Clayman running around. But they're basically these, they look kind of Hobby League-ish, but they are not. You can see the foiling pattern here on the Bursinatrix here. It's a little bit more reflective. It's like a parallel we'll go with. So, toy promos, some of them didn't get off the floor. There's also a picture of the Black Luster Soldier prototype toy that showed up recently. And there's also supposed to be a Black Luster Soldier card, and there's also supposed to be a really, really cool Wing Kribo. Here's actually what the unproduced Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Black Luster Soldier actually is supposed to look like. And as you could see here, that this would be pretty much the essential mock-up for this, which then raises the question of, well, if this is what the Black Luster Soldier looks like, and there was supposed to be a card with it, then what does that mean? Well, then that means a couple things here that we can assume. The people that were potentially producing this might have actually had the mock-up of the cards, which means, hey, you know, when you would go to show something or showcase it, you would want to have the prototype in hand, right? So if you have the mock-up BLS here, then that means that you're probably going to have the mock-up of the card to also showcase with it for the investor meeting, right? You'd think that? Well, interesting enough, though, the Cyber Dragon, the long, elusive creature, has come out of the woodwork. All right, so also, he has an identity number. The whole numbering system on the back half of the Mattel figure stuff basically got trashed when this Cyber Dragon got announced. Now, there's an entire thread on Reddit over here talking about this, and the gist of things that I kind of pulled from this was something about he got it as a gift or something, or he traded for it on the playground. It's very interesting, but what's happening right now with this is PSA is basically working, where the organization is basically working with PSA or BCW, whichever one, and they're going to start the process to verify if this card is real. You have something like this, 15 years, the skepticism builds in the community, and they're like, is this the Grail? It took, oh man, what was it, 5 years ago, for the Orichalcos, the sealed, the UDE one. And I don't know if you guys pay attention to things over time, but The Upper Deck Seal of Orichalcos was one of the most hard-to-believe things that ever existed. They were used by Upper Deck employees back in the day, and they were used to capture souls at one Nationals that year. And it took a little bit of time after Upper Deck lost the rights to Yu-Gi-Oh! It was like, 10 years after the fact? 2018, 2019, maybe it was 2017. That these cards came onto the market. And there's like 3 to 4 of them in circulation now, well, with a price tag over $10,000 at this point in time, which means that, those were rare, right? Like, they were a myth, but they existed for years. My question at this point in time is, how has this Cyber Dragon been missing for 15 years? Was there a non-disclosure agreement that locked this card up behind doors for this long that have prevented this card from being out? Now, the biggest thing that people were talking about is we're getting closer and closer to faking more cards. And I hate to say this, there's already fake versions of the DDS Blue Eyes White Dragons floating around. And it's very disheartening to say this because I really hate this, but the fake community is getting better at this, and it is so freaking frustrating, man. All right, now the fact that I have to worry about these potential fakes running around ruining the market value on cards, yeah, it sucks. I know. All right, so the first thing that we're thinking here is this card might be fake, but the card is so crisp. All right, I don't have better pictures of this at this moment in time, but the card looks too crisp to be fake. All right. The foiling imprint pattern on the card also lines up too dang well, all right? And for something like this to be thrown in a closet and coming back to years later, it really raises the question of, one, what were you doing? Why do you have this? Evidently, the person doesn't have any way of contacting where this originally came from. So now the question is, one, we have this really high classic fake on our hands, or this is actually just the frickin' holy grail of holy grails. I'm gonna say at this point in time that it looks too dang real to be fake. I am gonna be waiting for the update over the next couple of weeks here as we see this card go through PSA, BCW, whoever is actually going to be verifying this, and I'm really going to look forward to seeing the results for this. This is the kind of story that the community is going to want to follow up on and be like, wow, that's actually a real Cyber Dragon from the Mattel figure. And if it is, I've already seen people over here making offers of $30,000 on this card. Think about that, insanity. 30 grand for one of the coolest lost artifacts in modern Yu-Gi-Oh history. All right? And you guys, everybody looking at me right now going, there's no way people are paying $30K for that. You're lying. No. Trust me. All right? In the words of Vintage Values, that's $1 million card right there. I guarantee you that this probably is going to sell for a very high price. I'm very curious to know the origin of this, and I'm curious at this point in time to know if other copies of this are going to come on to the market. It's weird when you see one thing come up because all of a sudden more come up, which means maybe there's a non-disclosure agreement that finally ran out, like the UDE seals, that allowed them to circulate years later. Remember, there's always a lot more cool things than the community's actually allowed to see. Give things time, things come onto the market, and a lot of players are just like, I didn't know that existed. There are World Championship cards that are floating around out there without the original casing, which means that there'd be more than the 6 that was made. And it's very interesting. All right, so Ghost Black Luster Soldier is somewhere in the world is one of. There's some rare ultimate rares out there, I guess, were prototypes that were floating around that I've heard about. The Rumor Mill comes up with all kinds of interesting things. Also, Masao was talking about that he contacted Sears years ago to see if this Cyber Dragon was in their system, and there was a big fat no that was returned on that. So, from what I'm hearing, this might be real. I don't know. I'm very curious. I like long stories like this. So, do you guys think that the Mattel Cyber Dragon, the hidden grail, is actually real, or do you think it's fake? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I really look forward to hearing what you guys think about this. I think that this is actually freaking crazy. All right, this is amazing. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day. Peace out. Thank you, patrons, for making the ride never truly end. Without you guys' support, well, I would probably be doing Truffle Shuffle videos for a living. Guys, please check out VanCole40 for all of your Cardfight Vanguard content brought to you by MCole40. And if you are looking to pick up singles, check out mcolegames.com for your trading card game needs. Thanks for watching, everybody.